Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum students. This is your English class and I am your lecturer Fawzia Naz. Today we have to start with unit 2, that is hope and aspiration. What do we mean by hope and aspiration? Hope means expectation and aspiration means desires, ambitions and dream, right? This unit contains 3 readings. That is, I Have a Dream. It's a speech by Martin Luther King Jr. Second one is Glory and Hope. This is again a speech by Nelson Mandela. And the third one is I Dream a Word. This one is a poem by a black poet, Langston Hughes. So all these 3 items actually about the racial discrimination. I Have a Dream, Martin Luther King was a black person, Nelson Mandela was a black person, and Langston Hughes was a black poet. So these black people actually, they talked about the racial discrimination that they have been facing in their society, and related to their status, they have lots of hope and aspiration for their future, right? They had lot of expectation from the world around, and when they aspire, they dream a better future. So we will start with the first lesson, that is I Have a Dream. This speech is delivered by Martin Luther King. This is the exact speech that he delivered before the public, and you can see the picture of Martin Luther King over here. He was a black person. Before we start with the reading of the text, what we must know, as we people have heard the name of Martin Luther King Jr., what we know about him, that he fought for the rights of the black people in the United States of America in 1950s. And his speech was a momentous speech that paved the way for the Negroes to have their rights. Okay, over here in this speech, he talked about a dream. We have to do some research work to know what kind of dream Dr. King was talking about. And it was with the help of this speech, it is his speech that prompted the black people to look for their better condition. Then as far as Martin Luther King is concerned, the writer was born in that person who made that speech, he was born in 1929. And he was assassinated in 1968. Assassination means that he was murdered. So he worked as an American Baptist minister. He was an activist. He was humanitarian. He was leader in the African American civil rights. He was best known for his role in the advancement of civil rights using non-violent civil disobedience. He was one of the greatest orators in American history. And he also won Nobel Prize on October 14th, 1964. अब इन सब बातों में हम देख लें तो क्या है, he was an activist, he was an humanitarian. Humanitarian means when he saw the condition of the people, of the black people in their country, then on the humanitarian ground, he helped them. He was an orator with the help of his speeches. Orator था, एक इसके अच्छा दलीलों के साथ बात करता था. So जो है वो with the help of his speeches he motivated the people, and he won the inspiration or won the feelings for the black people, and won the right for them as well. So because of his work for the black people, he was rewarded with the Nobel Prize as he worked for the people. He had fought for the equality and justice for all Americans of all colors. So he wanted to bring a change, a social change, in a peaceful way. As far as the speech is concerned, this one was a public speech. It was delivered in front of 250,000 people, and it was delivered at Lincoln Memorial and on 28th August 1963. And it was a defining moment of the American civil rights movement. Okay, as far as the message of the speech is concerned, actually this speech is for the black people who had gathered from the whole from the all parts of the country over there, and they wanted to listen Martin Luther King, who had been very active for their rights. So actually he this speech reflects King's social experiences of ethnocentric abuse, the mistreatment and exploitation of blacks. This speech also appeals to the American myths as a nation founded to provide freedom and justice to all people, and to give Afro-Americans the freedom and equality they deserve. इस speech के actually जो message क्या है वो ये है कि भी जो black people should not be mistreated, they should not be exploited, and they should be given freedom and justice and equality what they deserve as the citizens of America. This lesson is divided actually into two halves. The first half, it paints the picture, or the pathetic picture of the Negroes. ठीक है, उसने यहाँ पे क्या किया है कि he did not present an idealized American dream over here. Over here he paints the picture of the American nightmare of the racial injustice. The second half में उसने जो picture paint की है in the mind of the readers, that was the theme of a better, fairer future of racial harmony and integration. Third thing that is very important that we must know, that figurative language is used in the whole speech. What is figurative language? Actually, this is the type of a language that emphasize on what you say, the choice of the words or the techniques that is being used in the language. वो so powerful होती हैं कि आपका पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू जो है वो बहुत अहम और अथेंटिक हो जाता है. लाइक लिटरेरी टर्म्स का इस्तेमाल किया गया, यूज़ ऑफ मेटाफर्स हुए, use of parallelism हुआ, repetition हुआ, rhetorical technique has been used in the whole speech. Metaphor क्या है? Comparison between two unlike things होता है. Parallelism क्या है? Two like things को parallelly दोनों को जो है वो आपने describe कर दिया. Repetition में you repeat the words in order to emphasize, put emphasis on what you say. Rhetorical technique क्या है? It is a device used by authors to emphasize. So with the help of all these techniques, what the writer had done, writer ने क्या किया है, or the King Jr., what he had done, he had actually emphasized on the dream that he shared with the public. Let's have the reading. अब आप यहाँ पे देख रहे हैं, मैंने अंडरलाइन कर दिए हैं जितनी भी यहाँ पे टेक्निक्स यूज़ की हैं इन ऑर्डर टू मेक इट मेक द स्पीच पावरफुल. 5 score years ago, अब ये 5 score years 100 years ago भी कह सकता था, but with the use of the with the choice of the word, with the choice of the vocabulary, he made his speech emphatic. So 5 scores means 100 years ago. A great American in whose symbolic shadow we stand today signed the Emancipation Proclamation. This momentous decree came as a great beacon light of hope to millions of Negro slaves who had been seared in the flames of withering injustice. It came as a joyous daybreak to end the long night of their captivity. अब आप देख रहे हैं जहाँ मैंने M लिखा है दैट इज़ मेटाफर, जहाँ पे RT लिखा हुआ है दैट इज़ रिटोरिकल टेक्निक, जहाँ पे SYM लिखा हुआ है दैट इज़ सिम्बलिज्म. अब यहाँ पे रिटोरिकल टेक्निक के साथ इन ऑर्डर टू गिव एम्फेसिस ही यूज दीज वर्ड्स दैट सम 100 years before a great American he was talking about Abraham Lincoln. He was a great American whose symbolic shadow. As he was standing at the Lincoln Memorial and he was delivering his speech at Lincoln Memorial near the statue of Abraham Lincoln, तो वो उसने symbolically ये कहा हुआ है कि under the shadow. As why he was talking about that shadow, because he was actually emphasizing on the same point as Abraham Lincoln had emphasized. उन्होंने यहाँ पे क्या किया था? He had announced एक कहने के इमेंसिपेशन थी, एक आज़ादी की एक जो है वो ब्लैक पीपल को एक अनाउंसमेंट की गई थी उनके लिए. सो जो उनकी फ्रीडम अनाउंसमेंट थी, कहते कि वो यहाँ पे खड़े होकर वो साइन की गई, यहाँ पे खड़े होकर यहाँ इट वाज द प्लेस वेयर अ पर्सन हु हैड साइंड दिस इमेंसिपेशन प्रोक्लेमेशन. तो कहते ये जो मोमेंटस डिग्री था, ये जो वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट ऑर्डर था इन हिस्ट्री, कहते ये ब्लैक पीपल के लिए, many millions of the black people or the slaves, it was like a beacon light of hope for them that had and these slaves, they had been seared in the flames of withering injustice. अब ये जो slaves थे, जो black slaves थे, वो किसका सामना कर रहे थे? They had been facing they have been burning in the flames of injustice. उनके साथ justice नहीं हो रहा था. They have been treated like slaves. तो उसने यहाँ पे figurative language use करके, metaphorical language use करके, जैसे sear है, अब वो जल तो नहीं रहे थे flames में, actually they have been burning with this feeling of injustice. ठीक है. फिर उसने कहा कि it came as a joyous daybreak to end the long night of their captivity. कहते हैं जो ग़ुलामी की जो रातें थी वो बहुत लंबी थी, तो उनके लिए ये जो प्रोक्लेमेशन है, it came as a joyous daybreak, मतलब इट वॉज काइंड ऑफ जो जैसे हम कहते हैं ना कि दिन का आगाज़ होता है सूरज के निकलने से, तो एक डे ब्रेक होता है, तो कहते हैं उनके लिए भी एक नई सुबह का आगाज़ हो गया, और उनकी जो ये कैप्टिविटी की, ये ग़ुलामी की जो लंबी रातें थी वो आखिर अख्ताम को पहुंची. एक्चुअली इब्राहम लिंकन ने एमेंसिपेशन प्रोक्लेमेशन के थ्रू जो है वो जो स्लेव्स थे उनको जो है वो एक जो जिस इनइक्वालिटी और इनजस्टिस का वो सामना कर रहे थे उनसे उनको आज़ादी मिली थी. तो जो किंग जूनियर है वो भी उन्हीं अल्फाज का इस्तेमाल करते हुए कहते हैं कि भाई इब्राहम लिंकन ने 100 साल पहले ही वर्क फॉर द स्लेव्स, ही वर्क फॉर द ब्लैक स्लेव्स. तो आज मैं उसी शैडो पे, उसी के फुट स्टेप्स पे खड़े होके उसी की बात को मैं जो है वो आगे बढ़ाऊँगा. In a sense, we have come to our nation's capital to catch a check. When the architects of our republic wrote the magnificent words of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, they were signing a promissory note to which every American was to fall heir. This note was a promise that all men, black men as well as white men, would be guaranteed the unalienable rights of life, liberty and pursuits of happiness. अब यहाँ पे again he used the figurative language to cash a check. We came over here to the nation's capital. उसने एक्चुअली यहाँ पे क्या बताने की कोशिश की है कि भी अमेरिका इज़ अ प्रॉस्परस कंट्री, अमेरिका हैज़ प्रोग्रेस्ड अ लॉट. अब उसके जो कैपिटल है उस पर ऑल द पीपल, आइदर दे आर ब्लैक और वाइट, दे हैव द इक्वल राइट्स. सो he had come over there to cash a check. He had come over there actually he had come over there to get their right. He was talking about his right in that progress, in that prosperity, black people right in that progress and prosperity. When the architects of our republic wrote the magnificent words of the constitution, अब जिन लोगों ने इस मुल्क के लिए कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन बनाया और डिक्लेरेशन ऑफ इंडिपेंडेंस किया, तो दी ऑल्सो साइनिंग अ प्रॉमिसरी नोट. प्रॉमिसरी नोट जैसे हम प्रॉमिस करते हैं तो हम एक वर्डिक्ट देते हैं, तो इट वाज रिटन इन द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन कि एवरी पर्सन, आइदर दे आर ब्लैक और दे आर द वाइट, दे विल गेट द इक्वल राइट्स. तो कहते हैं कि हम सब इसके आयर हैं, हम इस सब किसके वारिस हैं. इट इज़ द लेगेसी दैट शिफ्ट फ्रॉम वन generation to another generation, and we have to keep that promissory note as well, that all black men as well as the white men are equal. ठीक है, उनको अनएलिनेबल राइट्स दिए जाएंगे. अनएलिनेबल राइट्स मीन्स अनडिनाएबल, जिनसे इनकार नहीं है. उनको लाइफ के, लिबर्टी के और हैप्पीनेस की जो राइट्स दे डिज़र्व while living in that country, तो they would be given, it would be guaranteed. ठीक है, तो उस पर इसने क्या कहने की कोशिश की है, उसने बताने की कोशिश की है कि अमेरिका इज़ अ प्रोग्रेस्ड कंट्री, इट प्रॉस्परस अ लॉट, एंड ऑल द पीपल हु हैव बीन लिविंग ओवर देयर, हु आर द अमेरिकन्स, आइदर दे आर ब्लैक और आइदर दे आर वाइट, दे हैव द राइट इन द प्रॉस्पेरिटी ऑफ द कंट्री. उनका इक्वल जो प्रॉस्पेरिटी है उसको भी उनको इंजॉय करने का इक्वल हक है, जिस तरह से कि वाइट पीपल को है. फिर इस तरह से उसने आगे कहा कि जो उन्होंने कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन बनाया है, जो उसके बनाने वाले हैं, उन्होंने भी एक प्रॉमिसरी नोट साइन किया है, जिसके और जो है वो ये प्रॉमिसरी नोट जो है वो क्या है, सारे अमेरिकन्स जो हैं उनके लिए एक लेगेसी है, और दे हैड टू कीप इट फॉर द अदर पीपल, कि जितने ब्लैक मैन हैं या जितने वाइट मैन हैं, दे आर ऑल द सिटीजन्स ऑफ अमेरिका, और उनकी लाइफ, उनकी लिबर्टी, उनकी हैप्पीनेस जो है ये उनका अनएलिनेबल राइट है, अनडिनाइबल राइट है, उससे किसी को इनकार नहीं है. दिस इज़ द ग्लॉसरी that is given for till that paragraph. I end my lecture over here, and from tomorrow onwards we will continue with this one. Till that time you have to work on Martin Luther King and his philosophy, right? Thank you very much.